Hey there, my people, what's up? It's GleeCon, and I'm back once more with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thanks for joining me. We're going to continue our journey through retail, through all of the original quests that still exist and lurk in the game today. Gosh, for now. Fingers crossed that there's not another cataclysmic change that scrambles my lore master brain. But today we're gonna start off by finishing our fishing enough to do the remaining that Pagle quest. Stay a while and listen. I don't remember how far away we are. We have to get to 225 fishing. We only have to do this on Horde because there's no Alliance breadcrumbs anymore. And then we'll have to fly around, finishing off the zone. Alright, let's go back out to the dock. It's where I chose to fish. Really not catching anything special. Oh, that's my Sulthraze, since I got that in my repeated runnings of Zul'Farrak over and over again. Kind of cool. Hi, Seagull. What you doing, buddy? I'm here to fish. Alright, let's find my... There we go. Okay, so we will find in just a few moments where we're at with fishing. I think we're like 30 points off, or 40, 30, 40, somewhere around there. We need to get to 225. Alright, so after this, we are basically 3/4 of the way through the zones. The next zone, and we'll probably get to start this today, is Felwood. But Felwood's going to have two parts for us. We need to do it on Alliance. I don't know if we need to do Horde-specific quests. I kind of think we do specifically need to do Horde. So we need to do Alliance and Horde. That is what it is. The Alliance part, we're just going to take our Dwarf character, go to Ironforge, and then go to Felwood and do whichever ones we can do on Alliance. Then Horde, which I think the majority of them are tagged as Horde now. We're going to take our Horde Orc Warrior, who's a blacksmith, and we're going to do all of the blacksmithing quests with him first. Then we will make our way out there to... Man, we are just 1 for 5 on fish. But yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how long this whole process is going to take us today. I think I anticipated last time it would take us about an hour to do the fishing. So I imagine we'll be able to do the fishing and the Alliance portion of Felwood. Felwood is the last real zone in the game we have to do that has almost any content. There we go, we're at 196. So yeah, we were 30 off. After that, there's a Jara, which literally has nothing in the game left. Then there is Moonglow Crater, which we just have one Alliance quest to go check in on. And at that point, we'll take that same hunter that did the other one, and we're going to bring it to Moonglow Crater. And she's also going to get herself up to 300 skinning while she's there. Because that is required for when we do, I think, Molten Core. We need to have a 300 skinner, I believe, on both factions. I mean, I'm going to research it again to double check, but we should actually research today a little bit. But we can do that when we're flying around. Blasted Lands has nothing remaining. The only dungeons that have anything left are Blackrock Depths, and then, okay, we're 197. Maybe the Blackrock Spire, but I'm pretty sure Onyxia's Lair, Blackwing Lair at some point. The later raids, yes. Pretty sure most of the raids have something remaining. Just don't remember which. And I don't know, what would I consider... What's a harder attunement? So if Molten Core and Onyxia's Lair were the two available out of the gate, what do you have to do for both? I mean, just getting up to Upper Blackrock Spire, that wasn't a whole ascension process on its own. Molten Core, I feel like, is easier. Molten Core is an easier ascension process, or because for... What do you need? I think you have to... You only have to beat... You can get your Molten Core attunement in Lower Blackrock Spire, I'm pretty sure. Whereas you have to go to Upper Blackrock Spire for... No, that's Blackwing Lair. How do you get Onyxia attunement? You get it from... There's like a... Oh, I don't know why I'm looking here. That's a classic thing. I think you get it from this necklace. The Dracasath. Maybe, but maybe that's Blackwing Lair. I don't freaking remember. How do you get Onyxia attunement? What do you do? Yeah, I'd have to research that. But my gut says Molten Core is probably the lowest one. All right, so we're in a bind either way when it comes to all that. We will do our research. We're at 198 for fishing, by the way. 3 points so far on this journey. What have we done this week? Speaking of classic, let's recap. We did our weekly classic. We played with our alliance character, Glee Contessa, the Ret/Holy Pally, for the last time in a little while. She did a Scholomance run where we fought Vectus. He's an optional guy that's normally neutral, and we killed him and all his students as part of an Upper Blackrock Spire questline. The questline that sends you into the Spire to freeze the eggs and get samples and bring them to this goblin, then the dragon eggs, and then after you do that, you bring one sample or something, then she sends you back in to get a bunch of samples, and then if you do that, we're at 200 fishing, by the way. 25 points to go. Then the goblin will admit to you she was trying to do this because she's trying to help create a better version of the Forsaken spreading plague. And that she doesn't actually say these words, but she implies that she is part of the cult of the damned, and that she's working with a Forsaken agent stationed in the Eastern Plaguelands. It turns out that that guy is a undercover agent, a double agent maybe. So I don't know, maybe not a double agent, but he's undercover. He is a Forsaken that actually serves the Argent Dawn. And what the heck is this person yelling? I don't know who this is. It says, Dr. Dealwell yells, any ladies and gentlemen present should leave now, for only real men and women will be able to handle my gory spectacle about to unfold. Introducing the first fighter, the warrior of the Waste Wanderer, the Ayatollah of Kajakola, the Ginormous. So that's probably part of the arena in there. It's probably a Cataclysm quest, if I'm guessing. So anyway, the Forsaken guy says this is all a ruse. Now that we know what they're after, here's this item that we want to test out. It's supposed to kill like a bunch of Forsaken or a bunch of undead all at once. It's called Dawn's Gambit. Take it into this guy. There's a guy that lives in Scholomance, and he's like one of their top teachers that raises up people to be part of the cult. And why don't you use this item and it should kill all of his undead that he's surrounded by and make him vulnerable. When you use it, it does not in fact kill him. A crap ton of his minions will run over. He also summons a second guard who's very strong. He does a lot of flame strike and AoE fire damage. And we wiped on him. And then we were like, oh yeah, we should probably spread out. And then we were able to handle him the second time just fine. Completing that quest line, the moral of that story was, well, the Dawn's Gambit did not work. Thank you for killing Vectus. That's good. But we don't have any special tool against the Forsaken. The tool is me. I'm the tool. As I have been told before. And that was our day. So now, next week on Monday, we will be switching over to our Horde character for a while. The Horde character is going to do a nice, simple, clean run through Upper Blackrock Spire, where I'm not focused on a lot of side quests, and we just need to kill the boss. By doing that, it will open up. That will not get you attuned. The Alliance quest is a lot harder, and by the time you do that, running that dungeon to the end once will get you your Blackwing Lair attunement. For Horde, that actually just starts the run, and then you have to go do the whole Test of Skulls quest line, which is what you'll see us doing for the next few weeks. We'll be doing that, then doing the Quest of Skulls quest line, culminating with another finale run in Upper Blackrock Spire to finally get our attunement there. So I anticipate the next 4 weeks, give or take a week or 3, is where we'll be. So that's our classic life coming up. Yesterday, I also continued the Final Fantasy I journey on our weekly installment of Lore of Final Fantasy. For those of you Final Fantasy heads out there, it's definitely a near and dear game series to my heart. It got me started on the path of being an RPG player. It was not the first RPG, and I've talked about this at length, especially on that show. Really what got me into the RPG game, not counting a game like Zelda, which I would consider more of an action RPG. Zelda's really unique. It's got its own flavor, you know, it's top down like an action RPG, but it's not loot focused. In a way it is, but it's almost Castlevania, Metroid-ish in that each loot has a purpose. And it unlocks, it's a very popular Nintendo style of thing. You know, you have one open world, which is gated off, and as you complete different challenges, you get different things that will let you to areas that were previously. But it's also filled with secrets and this vague, neat lore. So I think my interest was piqued. Dungeons and Dragons got me into the role-playing mindset. We're at 205, 20 to go. Choose Your Own Adventure Dungeons and Dragons books. And then Dungeons and Dragons proper got me into liking RPGs, and then it was probably when I was around 3rd grade, in that ballpark, 4th grade maybe, somewhere around that about 9 years old, when I started playing the Dragon Warrior and Japan Dragon Quest franchise, and those were probably my first real RPGs other than text-based RPGs. Really got into it. There was I think when Final Fantasy came out, I don't remember what came out first, Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was like an attempt to port the Final Fantasy series to Super Nintendo, and it was a really sanitized, dumbed down version of a Final Fantasy game, and I played it a lot. But around that era, and of course I was playing the Link to the Past, that was a big one then. Those were all really cool. But I can distinctly remember when Final Fantasy III in the US, Final Fantasy VI, but called Final Fantasy III to my child self, when that dropped, and then you're getting to also see Chrono Trigger, and then the PlayStation era starts, and I'm getting to play Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy VII, and then playing this basically, that consumed my, from Final Fantasy 3/6 on, I was hooked, and all of my RPG career focused along those lines. Starting with Final Fantasy VI, I played 6, 7, Tactics. Like I said, I played that Mystic Quest. I was playing Chrono Trigger. I was playing Secret of Mana. I was playing Secret of Evermore. I was playing... I would try different side ones that would come out. Breath of the Wild 2. Shining Force is more of a tactical one, but I loved that. Shining Force 2 specifically. Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 11. That whole series, I was hooked and I was playing. Now, in there, PC gaming started to get sprinkled in, and I started playing Diablo 1 and Warcraft 2 and then StarCraft 1. So that's where Blizzard got into my life, and that was the birth of Blizzard, really. Well, not really, Lost Vikings and stuff like that, but that was the birth of playing RPGs with them. So from them, I was kind of hooked from jump. And when World of Warcraft 3 just came out in a time period when I didn't have a PC, so I missed that, but I played all of those on this show, and we've talked about all of the lore for those game series on this show. And when World of Warcraft came out, I had seen people play EverQuest before, There was not really. I like it looked intriguing, and Rogue, I think, was another one that was coming out right around that time. There was a few other games where I saw people play it, and I was like, that's cool, but there was such a stigma. When EverQuest came out, I mean, for those of you that are older like me, it was called EverCrack. There were articles, it was lauded as being this most addictive thing. And so I kind of, looked at it askance. It was interesting. It was a curiosity, but I was just as into wanting to play Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. So I was not just I had those other games too. So I was more of a console gamer through necessity. So, but when World of Warcraft came out, it was the game franchise that I loved. So anytime I got the opportunity to play it, I would. And then when I started, when I graduated college and started becoming a grown-up, and I could buy games when I wanted to buy games, and I could buy a PC and blah, 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 then it became a part of my daily life. So that's about late Burning Crusade, early Wrath of the Lich King on. But my point of all this is that my genesis, my roots, I really sowed my oats with Final Fantasy. So there's that's a big chunk if you think about it. Final Fantasy VI through Final Fantasy XI, with all of the spin-offs and reboots that came in between, is a huge chunk of time of formative years. And there are holes that I never really played. Like, I've never played Final Fantasy III, the real one, because it wasn't released until not that many years ago on DS, and then later with Pixel Remaster, to where I don't really, I don't really need it. Like, I don't care. Or I didn't. And then I missed out on, I think it was Final Fantasy XI I skipped out on. Or I played a little bit here and there, but that was the MMO one. So I only could play some because couldn't afford to. I didn't have, you had to get a PlayStation like internet adapter to even make it hook to the internet, and then I had to hope I was in a situation in my life where I had internet, because back then you didn't always have that. So are you doing it with dial-up? You're using your dial-up at your house, and then there was a monthly service fee, and then the game was changing. Not to mention, when it first came out, it was a bad game. So I had a complicated relationship with that, but I still stuck on and played 12 and enjoyed it. And but then they started doing like 10-2, and more spin-offs started happening. So at that time, when 10-2 came out, never played it, and 13 I never played. I never played anything past that. So I've missed the boat. And I've never really delved into the greater lore of mangas and stuff. So I decided to remedy that with this show. We made great progress. So each one, though, I'm not going to play every version of every game, because that would make the series from having like 200 or 300 entries. We're at 210, by the way. We need 15 more fishing points, something like that. I have the whole spreadsheet made for the map of the show, which I share in the comments section of when I make that show. But I've mapped out every piece of chronological thing in the Final Fantasy universe. So even if you don't want to watch the show with me and you're interested, you want to look at the, let's say, 300 entries. I can't remember the exact number of every single manga, every strategy guide, every soundtrack, every release of every version of the card series, every Kingdom Hearts spinoff. The only thing I don't have in there is like, I don't have really minor spinoffs. Like if they had Cloud Strife in Smash Bros, I didn't put Smash Bros on the list, or is there like a Beanie Baby Chocobo that came out or something? Like, I don't need to unbox one of those or whatever. Like, I'm not so sure. Is there some areas I could grow on? Yeah, but it's really, the focus of my show is really lore. And you're not going to get any lore from playing Cloud Strife in the Smash Bros game, nor will you get it from unboxing a Beanie Baby or whatever. So we've been playing for 18 weeks now, because I make one episode per week. So for 4 months, essentially. and it has taken me that long to beat Final Fantasy 1. It took so long because since I, just like I said, I'm not doing every version of the game. So, for instance, for Final Fantasy 1, there's like 16 to 20 versions of Final Fantasy 1. So, to play through all of those versions, one would be challenging practically. Some of them are from Famicom systems where it would, while I am confident I could find some sort of emulator to get a lot of these older Super WonderCon or whatever, like these old Japanese exclusive systems, it would require work. Two, many of the releases are Japanese only, so I would then be playing a non-translated game and just hoping it would work. That seems pretty cumbersome. Three, there are versions of the game where, like, literally all they changed was added color palettes, or, you know, just changed a couple soundtracks or whatever, like things like that. Or, you know, the changes are so minor overall. The ones I really wanted to focus on are the games that really add content to the game. So there are two versions of Final Fantasy. There are three versions of Final Fantasy 1 other than the originals that I consider noteworthy. Final Fantasy 1 all the way up until the Game Boy Advance version are all just quality of life improvements. So you might as well play the best one. I mean, I'm playing on an emulator anyway, right? Then, when you look at the Game Boy Advance version, Dawn of Souls, it introduces 4 new mega dungeons to the game. Now, they're a pain in the butt. We successfully finished the last one on the last episode yesterday. But each dungeon is like a floor. Like, the first one is a 10-floor dungeon. Okay, that's already bigger than most other dungeons, any other dungeon in Final Fantasy. Some of those floors are long and tedious and annoying. And there are 4 different bosses, so if you want to encounter every boss, you have to beat it 4 times. I did not do that. I beat it twice. Just to get the 2 most important loot things out of the way. Second, the second dungeon is a 20-floor dungeon, but you would have to beat it twice if you wanted to get both bosses. Which we did. Or I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that first one's only 5 floors. Maybe the first dungeon is only 5, but you have to do it 4 times. The second one is 10. You have to do it twice. We did do that. The third one is... The third one is 20 floors, and you had to do it twice. That one was a pain in the butt. And the last one that we just finished yesterday was a 40-floor dungeon. Luckily, you only have to run it once if you want to see all the content. So we did that. Then, on the PSP, it is the only edition where it's called the Collector's Edition or something like that, and they added something called the Labyrinth of Time. Subsequent releases removed the Labyrinth of Time. So it's the only version of the game that has both the Dawn of Souls dungeons and the Labyrinth of Time dungeons. Labyrinth of Time sucks butt. We did about 3/4 of it yesterday. And next week we will finish that and then go run off and beat the last boss. So the next episode we're done finally after 19 episodes, 19 weeks. We'll be done with Final Fantasy 1. But we probably easily doubled the amount of time that we needed to do this show by me not using emulator features in the beginning. Which I've used those more heavily now, i.e. speeding up the pointless repetitive fights. And by running those optional dungeons. Now, my characters are OP. You're going to have characters that have 999 HP, 999 MP mages. You have weapons that are just ridiculously powerful. So when I fight the actual last boss, it's going to be easy. We're like, the old max level used to be 50. The characters are at least level 60 now. But anyway, we're going to finish off the dungeon level that we're on. 3 or 4 more. They're like riddle mazes. I have heavily abused save states to get through them. I don't care. They're annoying with save states. I would not want to do them without. And then we're going to fight the last boss. Of the Labyrinth of Time. I said there were 3 noteworthy versions. The other one is the Pixel Remaster series. It's a cool version that has Final Fantasy 1 through 6. The reason why I did not play it is because it does not include those side content dungeons. I may or may not be playing it for the other versions of Final Fantasy. I will purchase that and play it that way if I'm not losing out on any content. So I will have to research that after next week. I might even research it on the show. So if you're interested in that, Final Fantasy 2 is immediately what we're going to jump into because they didn't have any... There was no world. One of the, I guess, inside jokes around the dev studio for Final Fantasy, a little bit of lore I learned in researching this show, is the developers of that game had already tried their hands at a few games beforehand. They were really wanting to make a modern RPG. They wanted to make one in the... and they failed, but then when Dragon Warrior came out, or Dragon Quest 1, when that came out and it saw success, the time was ripe for Final Fantasy. They're like, well, the market exists. And they made changes, and the game actually became much more popular than Dragon Quest, even though they absolutely rode in on the thunder of Dragon Quest, and you wouldn't see modern RPGs as they exist today if it wasn't for Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is really the OG that changed the game, and you can make arguments, what came first. It's all thanks to Dungeons and Dragons. And what's Dungeons and Dragons? There's a genesis of everything. None of this is springing up out of nothing. You could trace it back to J.R.R. Tolkien, which is frequently the dude who gets traced back to as like the buck stops here. You want to go even further? Well, he heavily borrowed a lot of his from ancient folklore. And so if that's the case, the reason why it stops at J.R.R. Tolkien is because if you don't suck at him, you just have to thank humanity. Thank humanity for World of Warcraft. There's a through line that leads from humanity, from cavemen drawing on walls and sitting around fires, to playing World of Warcraft. You can connect that. Connect the dots. But the joke is, it was called Final Fantasy because they were out of money, out of chances, out of lives, out of strikes. They had this last Hail Mary game. They all thought it was going to be their last game in the game that they ended up calling Final Fantasy. And they knew if that game didn't make numbers, they were all cooked and they were going to switch to new studios or whatever, work at their dad's, work at a company, put on a suit and tie, whatever the case may be. So this was their Final Fantasy. It was a fantasy game and it was their final attempt, and it worked. Sometimes that's how life works out. But there was no media at that point in time around it. There were no mangas, there were no shows, there were no soundtracks. Although the game was immensely popular, the soundtracks were great. And very, very shortly, a couple years after the first one, they make a sequel, Final Fantasy II. And by the time that game is coming out, they're realizing they have lightning in a bottle. They make a Final Fantasy II manga. They start to release soundtracks. and start building associated media with it. Final Fantasy III then comes out, and you really start to see a kind of an exponential rippling out. There, in its heyday, there are movies, there are radio dramas being broadcast in Japan, there are spin-off game after spin-off game, Fode game, Tamagotchis, like with chocobos on them. There's just... The research for this was daunting, and I'm sure I maybe made a mistake or missed some little things. But if you look at the 40 plus year lifespan of this franchise, it's okay. We're at 221. We're in the final 4. Like, I am barely older than this series. This series has basically grown up alongside me and lived its life alongside me. And in its infancy, I was an infant, so I wasn't really cognizant of it. By the time it was really hitting its stride and becoming its own little person, so was I. And now it's in its middle age, and the games are polished. But they've also undergone changes. They've made sacrifices. They have regrets. All right, now this is too much parallel. But look forward to that in a couple weeks, us starting Final Fantasy II. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like Final Fantasy II is where the game really starts to develop the world building. In the beginning, the story is very bare bones. It's essentially... It does have a very neat ripple if you make it to the end. And you can see seeds of Chrono Trigger and stuff like that in there, and seeds of what makes Final Fantasy, because one of the things that's neat about Final Fantasy is every world is unique. It's not a continuous universe, but that's also what games like Kingdom Hearts, what sets them apart. You are limited by having a finite world. That's why World of Warcraft keeps just absolutely screwing us. Oh, okay. I just decided I was going to catch that fish with my hand. But yeah, it keeps absolutely screwing us and taking us to a place we don't want to be, which is where they remove the games. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys. If that really happens, we'll have to see. So at the rate we're going right now, it's going to be about halfway through. Okay, so I would imagine before any changes happen, they'll finish the World Soul Saga. This is my guess. This is my hope. Because they're obviously not going to change it for midnight. And then, why would you change the whole world on the 3rd installment of the trilogy? Okay, so, we have 2 points to go. If that's the case, and I have more or less 4 years, I think we'll be okay. For the overall lore of this show. We will be able to... Because in this year, about halfway through this year, we should be done with retail. And then I will be able with vanilla. And then it really shouldn't take me a crazy amount of time to work my way through each of the quests and the expansions. Mainly because we're not going to have to make so many different characters and level up and stuff like that. We're just going to be able to focus and hone in. So, my hope is that we will be, by the end of this year, we should be done with Burning Crusade. Next year, 2027, this is worst case slow scenario. That means I should get Wrath of the Lich King done. And we should be back into fully exploring Cataclysm, which that will take us a long time. So let's say, that's how it rolls. Then in 2028, when we're coming out with the last version and we get lucky and they don't revamp the world yet, we should be doing full-on Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, and maybe by then we're picking up steam. And we even start getting into Legion, but then Legion will slow us down. Then in the final year of the trilogy, where we really start knowing something, we should have Legion. There we go, Expert Fisherman, hooray. We should have Legion and BFA done. So then at that point, do I think they're going to screw the Shadowlands up, or they're going to screw the Dragonflight Zone up? Probably not, so I think we'll be okay. And that's me lowballing, saying we're only going to get through one X-Pack, two X-Packs per year. I think that's a lowball situation there. I think we could do better than that. Only reason why this one's taken us so long is that there's so much grindy because we're doing old grindy classic stuff. Alright, we can make a bunch of spotted yellowtail. So this is good. This is gonna... Oh, now those recipes are 250. I mean, are yellow. So there's got to be some recipe somewhere we can learn from the dude while we're here. Everything else is gonna be whatever. Yeah, because we should be able to learn some the squid, and the mighty... You used to get those recipes right here, so maybe I can still find them from somebody around here. Oh. Okay, and then if I go and I open up all my... I have 9 clams. Got a black pearl. Okay, there's 9 more. Alright, let's see where that gets us. Because I have like these winter squid and these glossy mite fish, so as soon as I can get those recipes, we'll be good too. I don't know how long that's going to be. Alright, now Clamlet Magnifique is all that's really raising us up. The rest are green. Do I have any recipes in my bag? No, I do not. Who's this? Yo! Reagents? Here, bro, you can have my... That's for alchemy. I will keep the spotted yellowtail. Those don't sell for anything anymore. Alright. Let's see. This is banker. Do I have anything in my bank?
What's up?
Not recipe-wise, no. Put the black pearl in there. Let's put all these pearls in there. Yeah, some of those things, it's like, I don't know. I never end up spending time on her alchemy. I mean, on her engineering either. So that's something else we're going to have to do. There is a dude that's like a trade person. What are those? Oh, that's Goblin Engineering.
Yo!
I have to...
Keep it real.
I will have to work on that engineering. We'll get there. There's probably a quest or something that's tied to it. We'll work on it. But let's go find Dirge quickly because I'm pretty sure he's got some cooking stuff. Were we just in here? No, these are just bruisers. These are the like talker war bands. I don't know what the heck that even means.
Time is money,
I like this music. Is that new? We already have that tender wolf steak. Maybe it's on the other side. Gadgetzan look different to you guys. Cataclysmic Gladiator. That's alchemy.
I got what you need.
Oh. I should buy that. Because I will eventually get my...
I got what you need.
I'll eventually get my engineering there. What's this? A mining trader? Ooh.
Time is money.
Oh, I can learn mithril and true silver now, so I can smelt those things.
Keep it real.
Good. Just get that out of the way. Nice, easy one. Nomergon Covert Ops. Where's the freaking cook? Where's Dirge Quickcleave? Somehow I missed that. How did I miss him? Where is Dirge Quickcleave? Not down there.
Talk to me.
The banker. What is going on? Who's this guy? The butcher? Oh, there he is.
Do I have a deal for you?
Oh, so he doesn't actually teach you cooking. Alright. So, I don't know where we get the other recipes at. They gotta be somewhere. Alright, so now we're going back to Orgrimmar. And then they're gonna send us out to good old Feralis. Meanwhile, let's go back and look at the Fellwood quests here. So, we're on fishing, right? Yep, You Too Good is where we're going to start. Feralis. No, Fellwood. So here's Fellwood. There are Alliance-specific quests only, but not Horde. So I was wrong. We actually need Horde-specific quests. What the heck? Oh. What is this quest? Runecloth. You just bring 30 rune cloth? Buy it, farm it. Oh, you have to be friendly. So that quest is going to be tied into when we do winter spring. Oh, we could start the rep grind when we do that. The salves for some reason are alliance only now. The ritual totems, that's part of the farming. So why are the salves only mining? I don't know. Stupid. Okay. Well, you know what? But what you use them on or not. Oh, but we're gonna need a little bit of everybody because we're gonna need hunting, which skinning, disenchanting, gathering, mining. So we're gonna have to send our whole alliance team out there. It's time going. There. Okay. All right, let's go talk to You Too Good, man. So now we're looking for You Too Good. I don't remember where he's at. Is he over here? Or is he? He's probably by the fishing people. Yeah, see, I don't even know where Thunder Totem is, and I don't really know where Nighthold is. I thought Nighthold... Yeah, I've been really trying to stay ignorant of everything in the game. Okay, where's You Too Good? There it is. You Too Good.
Strength and honor. How?
Lumak no can teach Gleekon no more. You Too Good. Find Lumak friend Nat Pagle. Is human but no eat is Lumak friend. Nat teach you fish gooder. You find Nat in Dustwallow more south of Humitown. Daramora something like that. Nat probably fishing. Go now. Cool.
For the horde.
I will.
May your blade.
Alright, so how are we gonna get to Theramore? Well, we can just fly. It's not that far. But I do want to look in the drag for my cooking. Okay. Ah, why would I... Where the heck am I? Oh, I was trying to figure out what is this. Now I see. I was kind of turned around. All right. That's a regular. That's a chef for later. Fry bread, yummy. Okay, we already bought those. Can we learn? All right, we can learn grilled squid, bear kebabs, juicy bear burgers, night fin soup, and poached. So now we have every recipe available. Let's build them. Love it. Will this get us all the way done? I don't know. Perfect. So we're pretty darn good. 277. That's a pretty like respectable amount of goods here. Still, we don't have glossy mitefish. I guess I'm gonna get rid of this big bear meat and these crunchy spider legs because also the mystery meat. I think that one's gonna be gone. I don't need this spring water. I'm not saving any of this spidery type stuff. I feel like who cares? Now this sword, that's different. I feel like this sword and this gem, they should go in my bank. And then we're good to go. We're going to fly down to Death Swallow and fish away. We're at 277. How's it going to go for the rest of the time? I don't know. Wait, where's the next? What is that? Image of Lady Liadrin. Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that. We're gonna miss out on a lot, but it is what it is. We will also cover in our future go-throughs any games that have been, anything that's been removed from the game.
What's the word on the street?
Yo, the word on the street, my friend, is that I am cool, and you are not cool. Ha ha ha. Okay. Alrighty, so now we'll go talk to Nat Pagle, and we know he's going to send us around the world to fish in various spots. Upon finishing that task, we will, like I said, I guess we're going to start Fellwood. Which now I'm seeing we're going to have to do with every Alliance character I have, basically. So we will start, I guess I'll just start at the top of the list and work my way down. Which I think that's going to be the Hunter anyway, which is where I kind of wanted to start. She can do the slime quest. We will end with the Mage because he can start his reputation grind while he's there. With the Timber Maul, because that's another thing we're going to have to do. Everybody else that's not, you know, a like level 36 or level 40 or above, they can go into Chromie time. I thought he was supposed to be like on this island. Why is he? Okay, he is. Alrighty. What's up, dude? Remember when you had to actually, like, when it mattered to fish?
You need something?
You had to get this better. If you ask me, the best part about fishing is its slow pace. Gives one time to think and reflect on past events and plan for future ones. Oh, and it's a great excuse to drink heavily.
What can I do for you?
Of course, you must be a friend of Lomax. Fishing? I can tell you all about fishing.
See you around.
Well, then do so. Ask me, the best part about fishing is its slow pace.
Good day to you.
Okay, Nat Pagle, Angler Extreme. That's what we are going to add to the list right now. Nat Pagle, Angler Extreme. Nat Pagle, Angler Extreme. No period necessary. Okay. Can't say I really enjoy fishing much. Figure I've been at it for a good 20 or 30 years now. You should darn right you have. I reckon people are driven to do what they do for different reasons. Now, I'm not saying you need to fish for 30 years or catch every fish in the sea to become a master fisherman. I reckon you just need to be determined. Determined enough to sit on your duff for hours at a time doing nothing. I'll tell you what, catch me a few rare fish and I'll teach you a thing or two. Here's a list. Swamposaurus, Decilis, Feralis, Strangle.
Safe travels.
Alright, so we need Swamposaurus, Decilis, Feralis. Okay, so it looks like Decilis is where we're going to go first. Off we go. Swamposaurus, Decilis. Oh, there's also... That's Feralis, right? Yep. And there's Decilis. So Feralis and Decilis is easy peasy. Then we have Swamposaurus and Stranglethorn. So after I do that... I guess we'll look at our time. If 20 minutes has already passed at that point, cool. If not, we will... I mean, really, what do we do there? They hate us in Booty Bay, so that's going to be a dangerous boat ride. We could just fly back to Orgrimmar, I guess. And then Hearth from there to... Both of them are down here. So we could go to Gromgall. Alright. Here we are. In Ferellis now. For the first and only time. Yeah, no, there is a world also we have to have a contingency plan. I was talking about mapping out where I think we could be. What if they change it really soon? What if the world gets revamped after midnight? Now, if the world gets revamped like now, let's just say like, they just say like, guess what, surprise, it's done tomorrow. Well, then we're cooked. The project as it exists right now will greatly change. And the only way to experience all of the old stuff would be to go pick up an older server. Like, we would be forced into playing, like, Miss Pandaria Anniversary or whatever. So that we could go back, or like right now where they're doing Burning Crusade Anniversary, which I really don't want to do because then you're going to be jumping into, like, a slugfest where everybody is just clogged. Okay, we caught a lightning eel. Allegedly, we can find something here. I don't know. Supposedly, in this lake is the ahi-ahi. Ferellis ahi. Sounds good right now. Okay. I'll go like 5, and then I'll take a few steps over. You guys have seen me. We've done this quest quite a few times on Classic. Oh, so, where do I anticipate we're going to be? If I bring the whole Alliance crew over to Fellwood, we'll be done with that by tomorrow. Moving on to Ungoro Crater. We'll then research, do I need my hunter to get to 300 rep? Well, now that I saw that I'm going to have to start the rep grind and get to friendly, that's going to slow us down. So, that'll start tomorrow. And maybe we'll be lucky. Okay. This didn't seem to work. I'm going to go, after this cast, I'll go over, take another couple spots over. So then, tomorrow is Thursday, right? Okay. So then, maybe by Friday I'll be friendly and I can wrap that part up. Then, Saturday I will hit the skip Ajara because there's nothing to do there. Let's start Ungoro, and then I'll work on her skinning. So maybe Saturday I can get some skinning done. Up to 300, get Ungoro done. And then we'll be in the final chunk, which is nothing really. It'll just be looking through. So then Sunday you tack on, Sunday's where we'll start cleaning up any gaps that we have. So that's where we'll do the blacksmithing quests for the Horde. We will go and do Lower Blackrock Spire with Gleek and Tessa. Start running her through that dungeon. Working on rep with those. Maybe between those two, that'll take a Sunday. And then the following week, we'll really be wrapping up, which will be getting to Exalted with Timbermaw and... So that'll take us a couple days, maybe. And then, what else we got? Ah, we got our ahi-ahi. There you go. Okay, so now up to Desolus. Yeah, so what else? Yeah, the reputation grind for that. Getting our Horde character up to 300 skinning if need be. This is some stuff we'll be able to Yeah, we'll just have to start researching as we go. The problem is it's very hard to research this all while fishing. Fishing's the worst. I'd have to either have my phone or like split screen the game. And I don't really like to ruin my immersion. I'm fine ruining my immersion by tabbing. But I usually don't like to split screen. Make my computer start chugging along on RAM. Alright, so this is going to be the Sartheris Striker on the Sartheris Strand. Boy, oh boy, we have cooked. We've done things here for a while. Fishing round 2. So yeah, so that's, I think, about this time in 2 weeks we should be really wrapping up and getting ready to look at 112. 112, we know we have some other things. We already did one technically, the arena. Well, the arena's not 112. Well, actually, that's what we'll be starting. We won't be starting 112 yet. We'll just be moving on to the next set. Which should have been the arena, so we already pre-did that. And then Diormal, Azure Ghost, Christmas, Baradon. No. We'll get any Onyxia stuff. There's some of that stuff. That's where we'll be. And yeah, so I keep going back to this. I keep kind of mapping it out, and we just get a little bit closer, and I just keep re-looking at the end game each time. Like, is this, where are we in a good spot? And I think we are. All right, so kind of catches us up. There's not a ton of lore as we fish right here. I don't know if you guys have been enjoying the lore patch note history, the patch note history lore I've been doing, where I'm going through all of the patch notes that we can find from previous iterations. I don't know why, but I've really been, something that's just so fun about looking at the way that the game has evolved. There you go, we got the Sartheris Striker, fish number 2. Alright, so, yeah, time to go to Orgrimmar now. No, it took us 8 minutes for both, so it's not, we're not Hearthstoning. There's no great boat or Zeppelin. It's about equal distance from Orgrimmar or Ratchet, and both take us to, Ratchet will take us right to Booty Bay, Orgrimmar will take us to Gromgall, which Gromgall is actually safer for us, since Booty Bay hates us. But that's good. We're halfway done with this. Now, looking at the calendars, what's the next big event? What's the next holiday that comes out? Let's take a peek here. So Darkmoon Fair will start because that's the first Sunday. We're in the middle of Darkmoon Fair right now, but that's not where we're at. So I'm thinking somewhere around here we'll be starting to move to the next phase. I don't know what an Outlands Cup is. Some kind of maybe Dragonflight thing. PvP Brawls. I do not know what Ungoro Madness. The Void Spire. I feel like a lot of these are probably PvP. And races. Trial of Style. I do know what those are. I don't really care about them. That's where people like vote on your transmogging. Delves bonus starts. March on Quel'Danas. I do not know what that is. Okay, so then so nothing else happening in March. Then we get into April. Time walking, so it's just March of the Tadpoles. Noble Garden begins, but there are no quests tied to Noble Garden. So that's actually a freebie for us. Noble Garden just lasts a week. And I could give a rat's behind about Noble Garden. I don't care. What is this?
Hey, yeah.
That's Borean Tundra.
Glad I could help.
No. Bristol Glades. Alright, so we actually do have to wait on the Zeppelin. The portal is just for Undercity because I guess that world is destroyed. Alright, yeah, and there's just so much little junk. Blah, blah, blah. Children's Week will be in April. So Children's Week, there is actually, I think, a couple quests we have to do. Now, Children's Week, technically, I don't know when they came out. We'll have to look at our patch note histories. But for the events, it's kind of irrelevant. So by then, we would still be working on this stuff, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Children's Week, 2 each. One of them is to buy a foam sword and return the orphanage back to the orphanage. And the other one is to just talk to your orphan. We won't be doing the whole thing. So we'll be doing just the 2 little quests. So that's going to be super easy, super quick. Like I said, so this is 3 weeks. We'll be moving on right around here. So we're going to be having to do the PvP stuff right as we start to get into April. And that's when we do all of these. So the first PvP is Alterac Valley. So let's see what these even are. Proving Grounds. Travel to the Wildpaw Cavern. Like, what do people say as we start to research this? This quest is given a group of 3. Once you enter the valley, you need to fight your way to get the banner. You have to be in the battleground. They're just saying Zerg Rush. I'm guessing I would be just trying to do this as a rogue. So, yeah. You get the Frostwolf banner, and you're going to get the Frostwolf insignia rank 1. Okay, so I guess we're going to be doing that. That's the Horde version. So, whatever. It looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's approximately 50 quests, which means we're going to be doing approximately 50 per faction. I mean, 25 per faction. And what I'm noticing just off the top here is that you're gonna. We'll research this more in a minute, but we're looking right now for the Savage Coast Blue Sailfin, but it looked like some of those were like a rank 6, which means we're going to be needing to get exalted with the Frost Wolves. So there is a big fat chance we're going to be becoming masters at Alterac Valley. We're going to be doing it over and over again. Yep. We will be doing it with Gleevenger and with Gleecon here. Those will be our two characters. I'm going to run those freaking dungeons over and over again. Ay, ay, ay. Yikes. I am not looking forward to it. And you know, maybe we'll get lucky and there's like a quest we can do here or there throughout. I don't know how fast things go. Don't know how it's going to work. Yikes. I mean, we might be able to do research for each. But let's say on par we do bad and we need 25 times each. How long does it take to do an Alterac Valley battle? Let's look up. Okay, so let's just look that up real quick. How long does an Alterac Valley match last in retail? 10 to 20 minutes. They can last over an hour. Average time is 10 to 20 minutes. This is retail. All right. And then if you look at a queue, like if you're doing 40 versus 40 Alterac Valley. Got some honor level 5 from, oh, it's across my whole warband. I don't know, what was I getting? Some from the training ground. Arathi Basin training ground? What does it mean? Yeah, so anyway, we'd be looking to 40 versus 40, so you could maybe get lost in the sauce a little bit. Anyway, my point being, I don't care about the honor. I am worried about the rep. I'm not gonna lie. Bro. Alright, so as far as this goes, like for instance, we're gonna need this for both Stormpike and Frostwolf Insignia. So it's not only Hearthstone, what does it do for you? Dodge, health, returns you to, it's like a Hearthstone Inn. So you need Exalted. So that's true. So another thing what the heck is that guy? Another thing we'll have to research is how long does that take? How hard is getting Exalted? We don't have to research that right now, but this is what April is going to be for us. Some point in April, we're going to hit this Alterac Valley original quest crap, which makes me very sad. And Children's Week. So then in May, Balloon Festival. That's not new. That's not part of the OG stuff. Yeah, none of that. Nothing. Looks like nothing spectacular is happening in May. There we go. We got the sale thing. All right. All that's left now is the Swamp of Sorrows. Last fish for old Nat Pagle. I don't know why I keep calling him Pagler. Pagler the Eggler. So everything else is just going to be kind of, you know, grindy, some tedious, some rep stuff, but nothing challenging in any way, shape, or form. It's actually going to be nice. There's going to be some nice XP. We're going to get to see some people leveling up, but They're absolutely gonna be cooked when we get to those battlegrounds. Because I don't know. We could switch our spec, I guess, to have PvP talents, which just means stun more. That's literally it. Stun more. Stop healing if you can. Crap like that. More dispels. All that PvP is really focusing you on. We are getting slowly little XP as we fly around here. Alright. Here is our fishing in the last spot where we go for the Misty Reed Mahi Mahi. Wow. Good, he didn't want to come near me. I'm gonna step over a little bit, I feel like that's getting my junk. Okay. Now, Warcraft Gulch, on the other hand, that is different. I believe we're still going to need to get exalted. Let's look up, what do they call this? Storm Pike. How long to get exalted with Storm Pike guards, or whatever they're called. Between 14 and 100 hours. Not in Classic. Not in Classic. Retail. Retail. 15 to 30. One to 2 weeks. So 1 to 2 weeks of casual play, which is us. So we're going to have to do it twice also. So there's a very real world that we're spending a month doing those quests. And then another month in Warsong Gulch. See, that's what's going to cook us. Now, we might speed it up a little bit, because if in that process we get all caught up on the lore, I might start doing things where, like, instead of a lore video, I'll just go post another... I'll go run another match or some crap like that, you know? By doing all 25 of these quests, we're also going to get rep. That's really going to help us out a lot. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a good weekend in there or something like that, where we get the reputation weekend. That's cool. Warsong Gulch, we're going to have to do the same thing. And then ultimately, probably Arathi Basin, too. I've done very little Alterac Valley in my life. I've done a ton of Arathi Basin, and Warsong Gulch is the #1 PvP. Actually, I like Warsong Gulch. I used to do it all the time. It was my favorite one. But with Arathi Basin being a close second, I don't know why I picked those two when I was younger, but I never really got into Alterac Valley. I think that's because that's when my account got hacked. I was in the middle of maximizing all of those reputations. And I think I maxed out Warsong Gulch, and I had moved on to Arathi Basin, and that's when my career ended with PvPing. The game. And then when I started playing the game, I never got back into doing PvP. Alright, let's maybe move it along a little bit after this one. A couple more steps. So in Classic, sometimes you get pretty dang lucky on these. We are not. Like, we are just having to fight. Anyway, so we're not going to ignore any part of the game just because I don't like it. We're going to take our medicine, we're going to do PvP. and maybe I'll have a good time. Maybe I will get decent, you know? I'm used to consistently being at the bottom of the leaderboard, just about the worst in the battleground. But that's also, I don't play very much. When I was religiously playing Warsong Gulch for hours a day, every day, I was typically in the top of the leaderboards. I would run it as a rogue, and I've gotten, like, all of the Warsong Gulch achievements I had back in the day. Like, I've done the one where I'm the one that cap all 3 flags, beating it in a certain time limit. I don't remember what they were. Little tricks, you know. I can't remember what all the little achievements were, but on my old account, not this account, I did them. What are the achievements for Warsong Gulch? Let's see. I don't even see any. Oh, there they are. Duh. So let's see. I did win a Warsong Gulch back in the day. At some point, I did it in 2022. Plus, get 100 victories. I have 1. So I literally did it once. I got a 9-pound lobster. Personally capture the flag. I haven't done that on this account. Return 50 flags. As a defender. Okay, I've done 1. 5 flags in a single. I had done that one before. I feel like some of these you have to try for. Kill 100 flag carriers over time. Yep, I've done none. Warsong Gulch Perfection. Yep, I had 1. 3-0. Win it. Yep, I've done the expedience. Win it in 7 minutes. Iron Man. Carry and capture the flag 3 times without dying. That was a hard one, but I did that. Warsong Outrider. Get exalted with them. I don't know what you get from it. You don't get a title. It's just a rare achievement. Warsong Gulch. Kill a player who's under the effect of speed. That was a tricky one. I've done that. Not in my house. Kill 2 flag carriers. Oh, I moved. Dang it. Before they leave the room. I've done that. Grab the flag and capture it in under 75 seconds. Yep. Save the day. But I mean, I was buying speed potions and using my sprints and having trinkets. Save the day. Kill the enemy who is carrying your flag in the opposing team's flag room while the opposing team's flag is at their base within their control. I've done that. And then completing all of that. Yeah, so I did all of those. Once upon a time, I got every single one of those achievements. And then Arathi Basin. That's probably why I did that one, because that used to be second. For whatever reason, it was listed... Actually, I don't even know. Take 50 flags? I don't even remember that. Yeah, because Alterac Valley is... Ah, there we go. Finally. That's a pain in the butt. Alright. So we gotta go back to Pagle. Now we can Hearthstone. What's our time at right now? Alright, so... Good to know. Good to have our expectations set. We're gonna need Exalted with all of them. Now we're gonna fly down to not Pagle. Back in Duskwallow. And then with our little bit of remaining time, we will start the Fellwood Adventures today. I am looking forward to. On my retail sheet, did I put... Oh. Oh, I did not add the OOX thing. The other, well, I see. I got it. Yeah, I remember. I don't have to add that. It's an OOX of your own that is stuck because of the Feralis one. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't know why all the Horde ones. I think there's either a chance that they just don't exist because they removed that quest giver from the game. and that because of that, Horde characters can't complete the Fellwood stuff anymore, or there's a chance that the new quest giver was added in a later patch for Horde, and we will be eventually able to go back and get some Horde stuff, just not yet. It might even be as soon as 112. I don't know. Alright, not Pagle. Tell me what the dilly, yo. Not Pagle. Angler Extreme. Boom. I'm here.
Hello. Hey there.
Anything biting today?
How are you?
Oh, that's a fine catch. Come over here. Let me show you how to set a few lines. Alright, it's going to give you plus 12 fishing. That's cool.
Have a good one. See you later.
Alright. We got, and the cool thing about that is now we can open up our fishing journal. And we can equip this fishing pole. Yeah. And now that one can get sold. Alright, I'm going to go into Matt Pagle's tent and lie down and sleep. Why would you do me like that, you jerk? There we go. Okay. Not even going to use a pillow, you freaking savage. It's very important that I get my head right on it. There we go. Now even though she's clipped through the ground. Okay, so. Now she's going to log out sleeping in Nat Pagle's bed. Maybe they make some little baby Pagles. You never know. Draco's always been a little bit partial to the humanness. Those of the human persuasion. But we're going to hop on the dwarf now. And go into Fellwood. So, Gleevenger, you'll be there, bro. He's the minor blacksmither. But Gleesing Wary, we're going to hop on her first because she has that Ironforge quest. Let's take a look here at this other quest, too. I'm curious about this. So let's go to the Stormwind quest for a second. Alright, so in Stormwind, there's a quest called The Journey Has Just Begun. There are 3 level 30 quests that we need. We've done this, the Darkwind Fares later. We've done that. There are 3. There's the 2 Lord of Blackrocks, and The Journey Has Just Begun. The Journey Has Just Begun. A Dragon Slayer and a seasoned leather worker? Okay. You do need a leatherworking skill of 300. Still true as of Dragonflight. You must first turn in Onyxia's head. So you do need a 300. The other one is the Lord of Blackrock. You get the head of Nefarian. These are taken out. So, cool. That's great, but what the heck? Where do you get it, Onyxia? So now I'm wondering if the journey has just begun. It says you must first turn in Onyxia's head. He'll automatically teach you the pattern. So how do you get that? Retail Warcraft Onyxia's head. I should have just looked at it. Head of Onyxia. In retail. It was changed in it. Okay, it starts this quest. A most puzzling circumstance. This was not added until the fall of the Lich King, so they've changed it. Why does it? 2009. Let's see what people say more recently. Anything 2018. Got it on my third effort. Got what? You don't get the head of Onyxia every time? Drop bow Onyxia only has a 44% chance, but that doesn't feel right. What do you have to, like... Within a month, that is. What did you love? The head? It cannot be done in Chromie time. Since the quest becomes level 73 and too high level for the character to pick up her hand in. So that means you must do it out of Chromie time, but it still exists. However, what this is telling us is that we cannot do this quest because the head itself and the quest itself is a most puzzling circumstance. There's an alliance and a horde side. They both start with 3.3. So they changed this quest. Okay, so it requires 3.3. So we can go ahead and take that one out right now. Lord of Blackrock we should be able to do. But the journey has just begun, and therefore the need to have leatherworking at 300. The journey has just begun. We can now move that. The journey... See, now this says Onyxia. Oh, I see. So now I've got to change that to be 3.3.0. 3.3.0. So those have changed. Those were good on though. So Molten Core, fine. New Year's Eve, cool. Darkwind Fair, Blackwing Lair. So now those have changed. That's good though. That means it's going to take our leatherworking out. So while leatherworking is going to be good to have, it's no longer essential. Let's go talk to the... let's go talk to the guy about, this quest. The... Oh, I mean, we can pick up both, but it doesn't matter. Actually, I don't know if you can pick up both. Alright, so one of these guys has the quest. My two kitties. Theology.
Interest you on a pint?
Oh. This is where you buy heirlooms. Is he way down there? Ah, yes, there he goes. A little slime goes a long way, parts 1 and 2.
Greetings.
But the thing I've studied most is ooze. I know it sounds odd, but they're all over. I helped the lady in Menethil find her bag not too long ago. It was eaten by oozes. I've seen members of the Royal Apothecary Society from Undercity collecting samples of the stuff. I want to know why. Where does it come from? I've heard of more in Felwood. What I need are samples of the oozes there so I can further my research. I'll give you containers. You use them to collect a sample from the deceased creatures. Cool. Where the heck is the stone? I think that's here. Alright, so... A little slime goes a long way, 1. Did I? I don't think I put that there. No. This is going to be back to being an Ironforge quest. A little slime goes a long way, 1. Okay, so this is going to send us to Feralis. We kind of need to go to Ironforge, to Stormwind? And then maybe with Stormwind there will be... Where could we portal? I mean, we need... Wait, what do I need to do? Yeah... Okay, maybe if we go to the magic area, we can portal hop to Stormwind. That will be quicker than the trinket. Mystic Ward. Ah. This is possible. Not saying it's likely. Okay, I don't see any portals. Dang it. What is that thing? A decor specialist. Alright, so we want to go over to the other continent. What's the best way there? A boat. And we're trying to go to Fellwood, so we need to go to Wetlands to go to Darnassus. And while, yes, she will need skinning, it's no longer really important, since we won't be messing with that until Wrath of the Lich King.
Greetings.
No, I don't want to go to Fairmore. We want the other one. What is this?
Good day to you.
Northrend? Nah, I'm good. Dagger Cap Bay? Why is this? I could have sworn there was... more. That was...
Light be with you.
Oh, that's housing decor. Not on that.
Be careful.
Tip. So that takes you to Northrend. I could have sworn there was 2 boats. What the heck? Really? So now this is just going to take me to there and I don't have to fly up there? That's freaking... Oh, whatever. Guess that's what we're doing. Alright. So, good to know we don't have to... We're going to be able to cut the skinning out. Because that's not available to Wrath of the Lich King. Because of changes they made to the Onyxia head drop, they changed the items. Fine. One less thing to do. Alright, let's continue. Let's look at more of our research then. Okay, so. Back on the quest. Let's look at the first one. So we already did alchemy. We've talked about the amount of time it's going to take me to do Alterac Valley and then Arathi Basin. Ashenville is actually done except for these 3. This is the war song. Once you reach friendly, the Silverwing Sentinels is the advanced care package. The basic care package. They're all friendly. So that's good though. So Warsong Gulch, we might just need friendly. I think Satyr Horn's already marked. We have to do that later, right? Yeah. So that's actually pretty good. Okay. Good. Then we have the Blackrock Depths. I'm gonna have we will be doing that like at the end. After we do the Ungoro stuff. There's nothing really. So that's actually coming up soon. So after we finish Fellwood, say tomorrow. Well, because now we're going to start the reputation grind. That's going to happen. That's a for real thing. I'm not even going to worry about putting her on Chromie time since... what the heck? I teleported, like, into the ship. Alright, so... That's good, but... So, Blackrock Depths, that's coming up soon, actually. We will do this Fellwood stuff, and then Moonglow and Crater, and then we're going into Blackrock Depths with the girl. Blacksmithing, we can then... Sure, we can do that after, because now we're waiting. Children's Week, as we saw, that's not coming up until April or something. We have a few there. Coldridge Valley done. The rest of the cooking are not coming up until we do Silithus, so that's a little pause. Darkmoon Fair is not coming up until after we do our first round of PvP. Darkmoon Fair is coming up around the same time as we're ready for Blackwing Lair, which is the other Stormwind and Orgrimmar quests, okay? Then Darkshore's done, Deep Run Tram's done, Desolus done, right? Dunmorag done, Durotar, Dustwallow, Elwyn. The epics we're not going to discuss until we get to the dragons, which that is when Silithus opens. So when Silithus opens, we'll discuss those epic quests. Fellwood is what we're on right now. Cool. First aid is done. Fishing is now done until we get the Stranglethorn, which that happens after Blackwing Lair. Once we're getting ready to do Arathi Basin, we'll also have one character get on that Stranglethorn, and hopefully we get lucky. And we'll just be trying that every time. We already did all the Nomergon quests. Hallow's End is not until Halloween. Harvest Festival is not until November. Herbalism we did already. Ironforge, we're finishing out the last two right now. Leatherworking, we still... Ooh, that one we have to do. That's actually one that we should work on right now. Okay, it is picked up at Lortharius, which is in Darnassus. It requires 70 at least. Mine is 130. Okay. And you need to build these 3 things. Am I there? I am. Alright, what do they require? Embossed leather gloves, leather boots, and leather cloak. Embossed. Leather gloves. I can already build them. Leather gloves. Leather boots. Okay, so I already have everything I need to build those things. So after we do this, we're just going to go down and head... Before we head back to Ironforge... Oh, I forgot. We were on a... Let's go ahead. What does this do? Okay. Now, it's been a while since I've used this character. And then on the bodies, I use this thing. Cursed Ooze. Okay, yeah.
I need to get...
I have not used Homegirl in a little while. Okay, good. Got it. Yeah, because there's a couple different types. Alright, so that's good to know. So we will go up and... That's one we can knock out right now. Good thing we checked. She's our alliance. She's our alliance character. for leatherworking. And this one's not going to take us a long time or anything. We haven't used her in a little while. I don't know that it's going to really give us any kind of good. I mean, whatever. 162. Rep is back to sucking. I mean, XP is back to sucking again, so. Well, how are we doing on time? We're fine. We can finish this quest with her. And, oh, you know what? While we're here, let's also do anything related to skinning for the... forgot to use mine. For the, whatchamacallit, the turning in of the plants or whatever. So we need to open Fellwood. Sure, I don't have to use that little target thing anymore if I just use the attack button. This thing. The kill command. Alright, so let's check these other ones. So let's go back into Fellwood. We know we need... I don't really care about Salve Via Hunting because either one can get it. Let's do the Salve Via Skinning. We do have 2 different Salve Via Minings. Why? I don't know. There's 2 Salve Via Skinnings. Oh, because there's probably a regular one and a repeatable one. Yep. All right, let's open the quest up to Fellwood. Fellwood is only an alliance zone for now. And we're going to open up Salve Via Skinning. So where does that come at us from? Athrandis Silver Sky. The location of the NPC is unknown. Okay. What do people say? Must be a Skinner. Oh. It becomes available after... I see. So she might not even exist anymore. No longer in the game. Got it. So we'll take a peek where she used to be. She used to be down there. But they say... So she might be gone. So this might be listed as quests that are real that are not real anymore. In which case, we're going to just be doing a little research right now. To talk about them. But they might all be out of the game. Because if you can't get the beacon, you can't get the salve.
What brings you here?
Which makes sense.
Be careful.
Alright, so she used to be right around here. I don't see her anymore. Yeah, so it says it looks like this item has been removed from the game. So this is probably an example of like, you could have maybe done it, maybe, but it looks like they're gone. Okay, and if you look at this other quest, it says you have to have done this quest first. It was marked as obsolete, so you can no longer do cleansing Fellwood. So if you look at recent people, there's nobody more recently. Yeah, it's gone. All right, so it says deprecated. It doesn't exist anymore. No known required level. Okay, so all of these quests in Felwood, for the most part, are obsolete. So Salve Via Gathering. So we're going to add in obsolete quests. These are all... I mean, we'll look at them. But they're gone. So Salve Via Gathering, the regular one, and Salve Via Gathering. And we've done these all on Classic, so if you want to see how they look, go check those out. But let's take a peeky poo here. Okay, so Salve Via Gathering. It's a dead giveaway with the Horde one being gone, but basically, this lady says a Cenarian beacon allows a seasoned herbalist to spot a insidious fell creep, a malfeasant product of Felwood's corruption. My work here has taught me the knowledge of purifying fell creep into a cleansing reagent used in what we now refer to as Cenarian plant salve. When you gather the herbs in Felwood, you should encounter the fell creep so long as you have the beacon. In exchange for what you bring me, I will give you pre-made Cenarian plant salve. Excellent work. Every bit of this, once we purify it, will help us take back Felwood. Here, take some doses of Cenarian plant salve and head into the forest. The reclaiming of the land from the corruption waits for no race. And via Gathering, part 2, it's the exact same commentary. So, Runecloth we could still potentially do. Let's double check that this one's in the game before we send our dude out here. But as of 3.2 it exists. What's the newer? Is there anything newer? Must be friendly. He gives you another quest called Sacred Cloth. Let's check that one out. Yeah. It's considered that one we already know it's tagged as tailoring, but we needed to do that anyway. 2013. So it is, as of 2013, looks like it's... By the time I got 30 Runecloth, they already had enough beads to hit Exalted. Alright, so they're saying as of 2021, it is easy peasy to much easier to level up these guys. So Runecloth should still exist per this. Deadwood Ritual Totem, I'm guessing, still exists. We'll cross that bridge. I guess let's take a peek right now. Let's just get our research out of the way. I would imagine it's cool. I'm going to trust it. Okay, so now we have Salve Via Hunting, 1 and 2. Possessing a Cenarian beacon allows one to see a corrupted soul shard on those tainted beasts that are put down for the greater good. I grind shards into a usable reagent that goes into making Cenarian plant salve. We use that salve to turn corrupted plants into healthy ones again. In exchange for these shards, I'll give you some Cenarian plant salves I've already prepared. Very well then, here are your Cenarian plant salves. Scour Felwood for corrupted plants. Wherever they are, use the salve I've given you to purify them. Anybody say anything recent about this one? I see some 09s. It's about as early as it gets. And doesn't really say a lot. In 09, someone says, yes, you can still do it. But considering you click her, and there's... I'm blind or she's gone. She is gone. Yeah, so as of Cataclysm, they removed her with Cataclysm. Got it. Okay, so that was Salve Via Hunting 1 and 2. Let's add these up. So they're not really there anymore. My guess is, I don't know why they kind of got stuck around, but they obviously need to be flagged for removal. Salve Via Skinning, anything different? When you... A Cenarian beacon will allow a well-trained skinner to spot patches of tainted skin from bounty gathered in Felwood. I convert these seemingly useless patches into a thick paste that serve as a quickening agent for Cenarian plant salve. When your kills here in Felwood, be sure to have a beacon on you. When you collect tainted patches, bring them to me and I'll give you some Cenarian plant salves that I have already made. This is exactly what I need here. Take these plant salves and use them to reclaim Felwood from the corruption. We must persevere. And yeah, the exact same whether you do it once or twice. So that's Salve Via Skinning. 1 and 2, the repeatable. So this is a lie. Unfortunately, the almost all of the Felwood quests were in fact removed. Okay, and then as is Corrupted Songflower. So Corrupted Songflower, there's 2 versions of that. You found a sickly, corrupted version of what appears to be a songflower plant. A pungent, unhealthy odor emanates from the plant. It desperately needs some sort of attention if it can be turned back to normal. You apply some Cenarian plant salve to the songflower. It immediately begins to shed its corrupted form, blossoming into a vibrant and healthy plant. Comments: they don't add, they don't count. Any recent? As of 2012, this quest is no longer in the game. After level 63, the buffs don't work on you anymore anyway. Yeah, so this person says, as far as I can see, this quest is no longer in the game. And that tracks considering the quest to get the salve aren't in the game anymore. So that tracks. So Corrupted Songflower, which, again, we've done them all, guys. So if you want to see how these quests look, check out my other videos on Classic, because we've done them all in Classic. All right, Salve Via Mining. 1 and 2, if you possess a Cenarian beacon while mining in Felwood, you'll be able to see tainted vitriol that corrupts a vein of raw metal. I know how to purify that vitriol and turn it into a reagent that goes into making Cenarian plant salve. You'll then use that salve on plants you find in the wild that need saving. If you've collected any tainted vitriol, I'll give you some Cenarian plant salve I have already prepared. Very well then, here's some Cenarian plant salve if you find more vitriol when you mine in Felwood. Remember to hold on to it for me. The more you find, the more salve I'll be able to make. Okay, cool. So that's mining. These should be lowercase vias. I just noticed that, but now I'm not going to change every single one. Cool. What else do we gain? Corrupted Windblossom. You have found a sickly, corrupted version of what appears to be a Windblossom plant. The berries that hang from the plant appear rotten and poisonous. It desperately needs some sort of attention if it's to be turned back to normal. You apply 2 Cenarian plant cells to the Windblossom and immediately begins to shed its corrupted form, blossoming into a vibrant and healthy plant. So that is Corrupted Windblossom. I believe there was 4 kinds of... This was very tedious when we did this the first time on Classic. So now having to come back and retract them all, even though they don't exist, a little bit annoyed on that, not gonna lie. Okay. Did we do Gathering already? Yes. Corrupted Night Dragon. You have found a sickly, corrupted version of what appears to be a night dragon plant. The fruits that hang from the plant appear rotten and poisonous. It desperately needs some sort of attention if it's to be turned back to normal. You apply 4 Cenarian plant cells to the night dragon. It immediately begins to shred its corrupted form, blossoming into a vibrant and healthy plant. So that is the Night Dragon. Night Dragon. Is Night Dragon 1 word or 2? 2. Dang it. Night Dragon. Extend it just a pinch. Okay. Salve Via Disenchanting. The power of a disenchanted magical item is felt by the essence it creates. I've devised a way to turn raw essence used by enchanters into a suitable reagent for creating Cenarian plant salves. You don't need a Cenarian beacon for this. Any suitably disenchanted item that yields lesser nether essences will work. I just need a single lesser nether essence. In exchange, I'll give you a Cenarian plant cells. The essence is extremely potent. A little definitely goes a long way. Here are some Cenarian plant cells. I only need 1 lesser nether essence for this. Essence is by far the most potent item I can make use of to turn swords into plowshares, as it were. You need more salve, then find me here. Yeah, because it's a huge, terrible trade Via Disenchanting. I think if I had to guess, they probably ditched this because they saw, as of Wrath of the Lich King, they were already starting to have problems with the balancing of the buff for this area. So they probably, when they were ditching everything, they're like, just ditch them. We don't want to balance this buff over and over again. Just ditch it. Corrupted Whipper Root. Okay, this is maybe the last one of these. Corrupted Whipper Root. There might be one more quest on this. Alright, so Corrupted Whipper Root. No, this is the last one. Good. You have found a sickly, corrupted version of what appears to be a whipperroot plant. The visible roots of the plant appear tough and leathery, and a slimy film hangs from the plant. It desperately needs some sort of attention if it is to be turned back to normal. You apply 3 Cenarian plant cells to the whipperroot, and it immediately begins to shed its corrupted form, blossoming into a vibrant and healthy plant. All right, so let's go turn in Moonglow Vest. And let's finish our... So now... I'm wrong. In the space of one episode, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to bring every character here to, okay, I'm just going to have to work on my skinning. All of these things are either pushed back to later expansions or completely removed. And all I'm having to do is this quest, and we are still going to have to do the Timber Mall rep grind. So, I should have, in hindsight, just sent my one dude out here. My gnome. But that's fine. We'll do that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow's jam. Dang it. So, I think we have 2 we can use. Oh, they're just disappearing into my quest. These little fungal shrooms. Alright, so we kill a few more of these. And then we're going to fly to Darnassus, where I should be able to just buy some thread and get all of this done. And then we will hearth back to whatever tavern it is, I think Ironforge. And... turn this one in, which will be good, which will allow us to be kind of ready to get the next one. Oh, we got them all. Yeah, so then tomorrow we'll bring our mage out here. No questing. We'll put the mage on Chromie time first. We'll bring the mage out here, and then we're going to just start the rep grind. And we just need to get to friendly. He should be able to do the moon cloth, the sacred cloth. And if it really is that easy to get to friendly now, and it might be, we might finish it tomorrow. We might get him all the way to exalted tomorrow. He said that people were like, yeah, by the time I got the rune cloth, I was exalted. Uh-oh. That one died. It was we were too slow. Bummer. Okay, so we still need 2 more. So that's pretty good. Pretty stoked about that. And Winter Spring is where the final part goes, the exalted part, where we get the timber, the whatever. And whatever, like if we don't turn that in, we don't turn the last part in until we get the Winter Spring, but pretty close. So, because then you look at, after this, yeah, like I said, it'll be Ungoro Crater, which is just going to be her, this dwarf right here, going out for one more... Oh man, I pulled the second one by accident. I have no AoE. Get on my... Get on them. Like, why... Yeah, I should use that. Okay.
I don't have a target.
Oh, you gotta target it first. Alright, cool. That should be the last one. So, man, there's less and less than you actually think. I would say we're probably getting somewhere in the ballpark of like a quarter of the quests that seem like they still exist in the game from the OG days don't. That's why I'm so terrified. So I've only heard a couple things that make me think they're gonna change the game again, which does scare me a heck a lot. Thing one is I saw a map on Reddit where it had the different zones, and in the comments, I didn't even realize this was a thing. One person mentioned the map might just look like that because they're emphasizing the areas of the game that will be the focus of the game once they revamp the game. And I'm like, revamp the game? Then, OG listener Cuzzy mentioned in the comments, such and such a thing might happen when they revamp the game. So then that's now two places I'm hearing this revamping the game. And if it's a Cataclysm style revamp or worse, where the whole freaking game is tossed over, I'm gonna be sad. Unless they also like come up with dedicated classic servers or whatever. But I don't know they're gonna do that. Lotharius is upstairs, I see them. Lotharius is allegedly the person that gives this quest.
What brings you here?
Moonglow Vest. We in Darnassus, especially we craftsmen, are quite busy. Young adventurers are eager to test themselves in the wilderness and are in constant need of supplies. If you can help me fill my orders of leather goods, then perhaps I can teach you an advanced leatherworking technique. Okay, so we're going to add another tab here. This is going to be just leatherworking. And I don't think I have this. We have... That's a leatherworking quest. That's a leatherworking quest. So we're going to add this, even though they didn't tab it as such. And let's do, what kind of paint should we do here? Like a straight up brown? Yeah. And then we're going to center it. Boom. Leatherworking. This is the only true leatherworking quest, although those other ones are technically leatherworking quests. And this is actually called Moonglow Vest. This is an Alliance leatherworking quest. We're going to knock this one out. Alright, so we need... Let's make those. I'm glad I didn't make all this light leather yet. Thank goodness. So then I would have to go skin for a little while too. Alright, so I need one embossed leather glove. That requires 2 coarse thread. I'm glad I'm just sitting on all of this. Okay, I need 5 embossed leather boots. Which means we need 25 coarse thread. And that's going to take 40 of my... It's going to take 40 of my freaking leather. Works. Alright, and then 5 embossed leather cloaks. That will take 10 threads. Okay, and that's another 25. So thank goodness I have had over 100, because it was going to take like 70 or something. Or 60. 60, 70, somewhere around there. To make it all. And all of that work you do to Greetings, Leasing Wary.
I'm listening.
Yes, these are good pieces. You have a skilled hand and an eye for detail. Your future as a leatherworker is promising. Thanks. Low-level quest, and we just get Moonglow Vest. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Now let's hearth back to this stonefire in, and then we have to go turn this little slime goes a long way in part 1, and then this character can be done. Where are we on time? 2 hours and 5. So this is stopping point for today. So tomorrow we're gonna be taking our mage back into Fellwood.
How are you?
And that's going to be, we're going to explicitly focus on doing the mage because we need our tailor. And he's going to turn on Chromie time and then just start grinding away. It's going to help him with levels, so we'll get a second person that's going to become decently leveled up. And it will... We're going to get up to friendly for that quest. We don't need the whole thing.
Hey.
Some of the experiments I've done are fascinating. I think with a little more work I'll be able to figure out the nature of these creatures and how they play into how life developed on Azeroth, if they even have anything to do with it to begin with. One of my biggest theories that isn't well liked is the idea that oozes and slimes are tied to the creation of this planet, almost like they're a secretion of it. But I can't prove or disprove it until I get more samples.
Can I help you?
Heaven swings. Amazing results, Gleason Wary. You got close enough to take a sample of the corrupted things and managed to look no worse for the wear. Thank you. Oh, these samples will be perfect. I can't wait to start testing on them. If I'm right, I could be one of the Explorers League's greatest scientists. That'll prove to all the dwarves that this wasn't a mistake to allow us gnomes into Ironforge after the Gnomergon incident.
Seen you.
So he will now give us... Incredible. Amazing. I don't even know what this means. So he will give us a second quest, but we'll pick that up next time, not until we do Ungoro, which is close. In between these quests, too, we'll also pause and do blacksmithing after we get our stuff up. So next time we'll be taking Gleamageddon, our little Nomi. And then in the off part, we're going to take Gleeman and work on his blacksmithing. Love that dude, too. So that's pretty cool. Then we'll go back to Ungoro, and that's it. At that point, we're at total endgame material. We'll continue to do the research, but we'll talk about that next time. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, listening, and tuning in. I appreciate you. And I will see you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft. This one's in the pipe, 5x5.